The raccoon relocation problem. Why catch and release is not what you think it is. Every spring, social media fills up with well-meaning posts from people who have discovered that raccoons are eating their cat food, raiding their garden, or throwing a block party on their back porch. The solution many of them announce with confidence is simple. Trap them and relocate them somewhere they can live their best raccoon life. It sounds kind. It's not kind. And in Texas, it is also illegal. Let's talk about it. The Golden Corral problem. Raccoons in South Texas are thriving. If you spent any time in rural areas, you've seen them. A fat, glossy, absurdly well-fed animals who have figured out that humans are, frankly, terrible at securing their garbage. They are smart, adaptable, and completely unintimidated by you. They are also not your problem to solve by driving them somewhere else. The logic of relocation feels intuitive. Animals here, animals should not be here, therefore move animal. Done. Except wildlife biology does not care about your logic, and neither does the Texas Department of State Health Services. First, it's illegal. Under the Texas Rabies Control and Eradication Administrative Code, it is illegal for a private citizen to transport any live raccoon, indigenous or naturalized, to North America. A violation of this law is a Class C misdemeanor. Even licensed professionals face strict rules. Quarantined animals, including raccoons, can only be moved within a 10-mile radius in the same county near the original capture site. State law requires approval from Texas Parks and Wildlife Department and the landowner of the release location before any transport occurs. If you want to trap and relocate a nuisance fur-bearing animal in Texas, you must first obtain a letter of authorization from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, Wildlife Division, specifying the species and estimated numbers. That authorization process involves paperwork, waiting, and an honest conversation with a wildlife professional who will almost certainly recommend something other than relocation. The "I did my research" defense does not hold up in front of a game warden. Second, relocation is a death sentence. Here's where the good intentions really fall apart. 15 years of GPS raccoon translocation studies show a survival rate of just 18% for relocated raccoons. Of every 10 raccoons someone drives out to the woods and releases because they felt bad about killing them, 8 are dead within months. Studies suggest that less than 20% of relocated raccoons survive for more than a few weeks. Challenges include predation, starvation, and violent competition from raccoons already living in the release area. One study found a 50% mortality rate at 3 months post-release, with mortality potentially reaching 75% after 1 year. This is not a rescue. This is a delayed execution with extra steps and a clearer conscience for the person doing it. Even if the stress of capture and transport does not kill them outright, relocated raccoons face violent confrontations with resident animals who are not interested in sharing their territory with a disoriented stranger. Raccoons are not gentle creatures by nature. A confused, stressed raccoon dropped into another raccoon's home range is not going to be welcomed with a fruit basket. A 1999 study found that relocated raccoons left release sites within hours to days and were more likely to den in human residence areas than raccoons native to the release site. So you have moved the raccoon, traumatized the raccoon, probably killed the raccoon, and the raccoon's last act on Earth was to try to find another human house. Congratulations. Third, it does not even solve your problem. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you trap and remove one animal, another will almost certainly move into the territory you just cleared. The food source is still there. The access points are still there. The neighborhood is still raccoon friendly. You have not addressed anything except your own discomfort, and you have done it at the cost of an animal's life. Whatever entry point or attractant brought the raccoon to your property in the first place is still there. Sooner or later, another raccoon or another wild animal will find it. This is what wildlife professionals call the vacuum effect, and it is why trap and relocate programs consistently fail to produce long-term results. You are not solving a problem. You are cycling through animals until you run out of patience or marshmallow bait. What actually works? The raccoons on your porch are there because something attracted them. Remove the attraction and you remove the raccoons. This is not complicated, though it does require admitting that the situation is mostly of your own making. Secure your food sources. If you feed outdoor cats, bring the food in at night. Secure your garbage with bungee cords or a latching lid. Remove brush piles, fallen fruit, and easy den sites. Motion-activated lights and sprinklers work reasonably well as deterrents. More than 90% of human-wildlife conflicts can be resolved on-site without removing the animal at all. The science on this is not ambiguous. If you have a genuine nuisance situation that goes beyond cat food scheduling, contact a licensed wildlife control operator or call Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. They can assess the actual situation and give you legal, effective options that do not involve driving a raccoon to a county park and hoping for the best. A note on marshmallow traps. Marshmallows work as raccoon bait because raccoons will eat anything that smells like sugar. Feral cats generally do not care. This is a known and commonly used baiting technique, which means if you are planning to set traps and release raccoons elsewhere, you are already aware that a live animal is going to be in that trap, probably overnight, definitely stressed, possibly a nursing mother with kids dying somewhere nearby that you will never find. That's worth sitting with. The bottom line. Raccoons are intelligent, resilient, and deeply adapted to living alongside humans. They're going to be in your yard. They're going to be on your porch. They're going to stare at you with complete indifference while you yell at them from your back door at 10 p.m. This is rural Texas. This has always been rural Texas. If you live here and deal with wildlife, the ethical and legal path forward is coexistence, deterrence, and when necessary, calling someone who is actually licensed to handle it. The raccoons do not need to be relocated. The misinformation does. If you have a genuine wildlife conflict in Texas, contact Texas Parks and Wildlife Department at 1-800-792-1112 or find a licensed wildlife rehabilitator through the National Wildlife Rehabilitators Association. For wildlife emergencies in the Gulf Coast region, contact Gulf Coast Wildlife Rescue.